Think you can use your HSA to pay for all of your Medicare premiums? Not quite. Today I'm going to talk about what you can pay for and what's off limits. Welcome back to Medicare Happy Hour, the most fun you'll have on the internet while talking about Medicare. Today I am in need of a caffeine fix, so we are skipping the booze and just getting some black coffee. So first things first, once you're enrolled in Medicare, you can no longer contribute to an HSA or a health savings account anymore. We do have another video on this, so just check out our page and you can get all the information you need there. But you can use your existing HSA funds to pay for qualified medical expenses, including some Medicare premiums. So let's take a look at what that is. So first and foremost, Medicare premium and cost. You can use HSA dollars to pay for your Part A, which frankly, there is no premium for the vast majority of people that are on Part A. If you or your spouse has worked 40 quarters or 10 years, you do not have a Part A premium. Some people maybe haven't been in the country as long or there's extenuating circumstances, but for most people that won't apply. Part B, this is a premium that you pay each month. It generally comes out of your Social Security check, but you can use HSA dollars to pay for that. This is income dependent, so go ahead and check out, what that looks like for your income. Part C is another name for Medicare Advantage. If you are on a Medicare Advantage plan with premiums, you can use it for that. And then Part D, which is the drugs, you can use it for that. And then co-pays, co-insurance, deductibles, anything throughout here that you would, incur a cost for, you can use HSA dollars for that. Now, the one thing I think is worth mentioning is you can use HSA dollars for spousal Medicare premiums, but only if your spouse is above 65. So essentially, there are some people below 65 that are enrolled on Medicare based on Social Security, disability, things like that. You can't use HSA dollars for those folks. Things that you can't use HSA dollars for, and this is probably the most important one for you to be aware of because a lot of people are not aware of this information, is Medigap premiums. So this is your Medicare supplements, your G plans, your N plans, your F plans, etc. You cannot use HSA dollars to pay those premiums. And those are generally more significant premiums. So it's just something that I want to make sure everyone knows. And then, like I just mentioned, if your spouse is under 65 but on Medicare due to disability, you can't use HSA dollars to pay for their premium. So, why this matters for you is, frankly, HSAs, a lot of people use health savings accounts as a way to reduce their income in retirement because a lot of folks bank money in their HSA and then they can pull from their retirement savings a little less if they're using HSA dollars to pay for all of these premiums and all medical costs. Generally, medical costs are one of the most expensive elements of retirement. So if you can use your HSA dollars for that instead of pulling out of your, just general retirement savings, that reduces your taxable income in retirement. Now, it's important to note that if you use those HSA dollars that you've spent for ineligible expenses, you'll owe income tax and a 20% penalty if you're under 65. Now, if you're over 65, there's no penalty, but you're still going to pay the income tax for any ineligible withdrawals. So those Medigap plans I talked about or other expenses that you pay HSA dollars to that maybe aren't HSA eligible. So frankly, we have other videos, as I've mentioned before, on HSAs. I think this is something that a lot of people that are preparing for retirement generally ask us questions about. So give us a call if you have questions. We're more than happy to help.